I'm spinning this wheel, and wherever it lands, I have to go. Because Ryan Trahan challenged me
Yeah, I'm in this video too, don't question it.
to visit 10 random countries in 10 days to prove I have what it takes to be a real tourist. It's officially day 6, and we've already visited Italy, Switzerland, Germany, Poland, and Denmark. Let's see where I'm going next. We've officially landed in our 6th country, Sweden. And we cannot leave this country until Leo and I complete 3 tasks.
Number 1, you gotta find the coolest souvenir you possibly can. Number 2, you have to eat a traditional food. And number 3, you must visit a famous landmark. Good luck!
So before we dive into the tasks, we decided to do something we haven't done yet. Check into the hotel and actually chill for a bit. And this one, let's just say it's pretty unique. Come on in and welcome to the room tour. So as you guys can see from my outfit, I am wearing an authentic Japanese clothes, and this is an authentic Japanese hotel here in Sweden. So as you walk in, this is the main living area. Then we have a double bed, and then across the entire back of the room, there are these cool privacy shades. Here comes the coolest part, the bathroom. So as you can see, we have this massive wooden tub, not much privacy, but if you are in the tub, you are gonna have an insane view. I have no idea what this is made for. I'm not sure if this is for your hands, your hair, your face, I don't know, but there's 2 of them. Yeah, I mean, they have an entire room for it, so it must be important. We explored around, got a massage, and even tried the Japanese baths, which was a whole experience on its own. Honestly, this was basically our first time in this challenge that we actually got to slow down for a second. And we really needed it. But we can't sit here forever because time is running out, and we still have 3 tasks to complete. So once we recharged, we headed off into Stockholm to find a souvenir. A bunch of people had told us that the best place to start was this big red and black building by the water. As we got closer, there were heaps of people just hanging out on the grass outside. And the weirdest thing was, there's some sails poking out of the roof. We had no idea what that meant, but it definitely got us curious. So we head inside, and that's when we start to figure it out. This is a little museum. There's glass cases with an old hat, some gloves, and also some skeletons laid out side by side. It's still a little confusing though, like what does any of this have to do with Sweden? And then it clicks. All this stuff is from one thing. Taking up the entire building is this gigantic ship. This is the Vasa. And back in the 1600s, Sweden built this huge warship to show off how powerful they were. But they kind of messed it up. It was way too top heavy. And on its very first trip, it sailed less than a mile before it tipped over and sank right into the harbor. And it stayed there for over 300 years, until they pulled it out in the 1960s. Now it's just sitting here, almost perfectly preserved. They even had this model, showing what the inside of the ship would have looked like, with little figures of sailors running around and cannons lined up. It kind of made the whole thing feel more alive, like you could picture what it was like the day it sank. You know what's crazy is this is actually probably one of the main attractions here in Sweden, and I bet every single school kid probably had a field trip here at one point in their life, which means that these halls are probably the same halls that PewDiePie walked when he was in school. These are PewDiePie was probably right here. It's this is holy ground right now. This is actually insane. After walking around and playing with the ship's cannons, we headed towards the exit, still trying to figure out where we could find a souvenir. And just like every other museum on Earth, the only way out was through a gift shop. Normally, I just walk straight through, but this place actually had some pretty cool stuff. There were rows of shiny candlesticks, cannon figurines, and even these weird wooden paddles. I probably spent a couple of minutes trying to figure out what they were, but I guess they're cooler than the usual fridge magnet stuff. But then we spotted this feather and ink quill set. Back when the Vasa was being built, this is exactly the kind of thing that everyone would have been scribbling with. So yeah, maybe a cannon would have been cooler to show off back at home, but at least with the feather and quill, we can actually use it to check this task off the list. So that means task 1 is officially complete. We've come a long way, but to really earn that real tourist title, we've got to keep going, because we don't want Ryan to be mad.
If you fail, I'll be super mad, really upset.
And on the way, we walked past this fancy little building, the Nobel Prize Museum. From the outside, it seemed epic. This is the Nobel Prize, one of the biggest awards in the entire world. So it only made sense to check it out. Inside though, it wasn't really what we had in mind. The whole place is basically one big room. And sure, there were some cool things like old notebooks and gear from scientists, but then we kept seeing stuff that just didn't really make sense. In this one display, there's just a baseball mitt, a telephone, and some Tide Pods. We couldn't really tell if these were supposed to be some inventions that people had created or if they just belonged to past winners. It was all just kinda weird. My thing is, I've always associated the Nobel Prize with peace, but this place didn't really touch on that at all. And it was also pretty expensive. So we tried our hardest to stick around and get our money's worth, but honestly, we were out of there in like 10 minutes. By then, we were already starving, so it actually worked out in our favor. Because just down the street was a little cafe that had exactly what we needed. Welcome to Josefina, home to some of the best köttbullar, or Swedish meatballs, in Stockholm. Inside, it was super nice and chill, and weirdly enough, it was basically empty. So our food came out pretty much instantly. Just in case things went sideways, we did order a little pizza on the side, but when the meatballs actually showed up, we realized we did not need a backup at all. These weren't your regular IKEA meatballs. These were the real deal. It came with this creamy mashed potato, little red berries, and some pickled cucumber on top. It looked insane. But the real question is, how did it taste? I don't even know what flavor this is, to be honest. Like, I'm not quite sure, but I guess we'll see. Take a cut. I'm not sure if you're supposed to eat it all at once or cut it in half, but I'm gonna cut it in half like a complete noob. And let's see. Actually really good, and the texture is actually really good too. Like, I don't know, like when I have meatballs at home, they're kind of get dry. This is like actually like really well made. It's actually so good. I wish they came with more. It's only like 5 on the plate. It's approved. I love it. It's amazing actually. This actually might be the best. Yeah, maybe not. Pierogi is pretty good too, but this is definitely up there.
Okay guys, I'm excited to try these authentic meatballs here from Sweden. They do look really good.
It was so much better than I thought it'd be. But the only bad thing was, there wasn't really enough of it.
Oh my god, that is so good. I have no words.
Like, if I'm gonna be honest, I really think Leo and I could have ate 2 more plates all to ourselves. Still, between this and the pierogi we tried back in Poland, I don't even know which one I liked more. They were both so good. But either way, that means task 2 is officially complete. Leaving the restaurant, we were in a much better mood, so it felt like just the right time to head out and finish our 3rd task. Thankfully, no one bothered to pester us, and there wasn't any sort of chaos like Italy. People are just out biking, walking, or sitting in the parks, enjoying the sun. It actually reminded us a lot of Denmark. Not even 5 minutes later, we're halfway down the street when we look up and we see this massive church, Ryderholmen Church. Apparently, it's like one of the oldest buildings in Stockholm, and it's where Swedish kings and queens are actually buried, which is wild because we just sort of stumbled into it by accident. After staring for a while, Leo decided to start walking off. And soon enough, the streets opened up to something giant. This is Stockholm Palace. From the outside, it looks about what you'd expect. It's huge, fancy, and apparently it's got over 600 rooms, which is just ridiculous. Inside though, it kind of felt like we'd been transported back to Italy. All along the halls are these statues. Some are pretty inquisitive looking, and others look like every other statue we've seen. But the best part of it all was this. Every inch of this place was covered in gold trim and giant paintings that looked straight out of Rome. It was so detailed that you kinda didn't even know where to look. What really surprised us though was how quiet it was. Sure, there were a few tour groups scattered here and there, but there weren't any real crowds. Which honestly, I'm not mad about. And just like that, task 3 is officially complete. But the journey isn't over yet because we still have 4 more countries to visit. Time to spin the wheel. On this wheel is every country surrounding Sweden. And wherever it lands, we have to go to next. Okay, let's see where we're going. Subscribe to see which country we're going to next.